right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM, online at kaieteurnewsonline.com/radio, on Facebook at Kaieteur Radio, The Glenn Lall Show, and Kaieteur News, on our website, that's rather on YouTube at Kaieteur Radio Livestream and Kaieteur Radio. And those of you joining us from our apps, we're happy that you can join us this evening as we continue to tell it as it is. And we are happy to announce that we will Mr. Lall sends his regards to each and every one of you. Those of you who were joining us on radio would have heard that message from him. And of course, we will continue to play it every now and then on our free times here at Kaieteur Radio. But it is time for a rebroadcast of the Glenn Lall Show. We thank each and every one of you that have reached out to question the whereabouts of Mr. Lall. He's fine, and I do assure you that he's listening to some of these programs and sends his regards to each and every one of you, and is looking forward to be back with you in the shortest possible time. It is time for a rebroadcast of the Glenn Lall Show. It is titled, "They are proud to announce what they find when they find oil, but they are not telling us the cost to find it." It is now time for the rebroadcast of the Glenn Lall Show.
All four of today's newspaper in my hand. I just want to touch on the lead story in all four of them. I'll begin with the Stabroek News. Big and bold, Exxon in oil find at Pink Tail Well. The Guyana Chronicle. ExxonMobil strikes more oil at Stabroek Block. Government says discovery will stimulate monumental transformation. You hear that?
Transformation of what?
Yes, it will stimulate monumental transformation. That's the Guyana Chronicle. The Guyana Times. Exxon makes 23rd oil discovery offshore Guyana. With new discoveries, oil equivalent barrels exceeds 9 billion. And the Kaieteur News, the lead story is IDB notes growing concerns country may fall victim to the Dutch disease. Cautions against becoming reliant on fossil fuel. And the second headline is where we said Liza 2 FPSO on its way, big and bold, and the strapline, as Exxon finds more oil offshore. Wow. Wow, those are the headlines in today's newspaper. What is there for me and you? Is there anything for me and you there?
I didn't see any.
I asked this question, what is there for me and you, Guyana? This find they call Pink Tail, and they are submitting the project for Yellowtail next month. That's Liza 4. What are you getting out of it, Josh? What are you getting out of the two tails? You're getting a cut tail. You hear me, Bernard? You're getting a cut tail. All of us getting a cut tail from Yellowtail. And this new fine Pink Tail. Yes, so get ready to take it. The leaders are proud to announce when they find. They are not telling us the cost of the find. The most important aspect of the business, the operational costs, the expenses, interest rates. You're not hearing nothing about that from ExxonMobil or the government. But they are proud to say it's the 23rd find in the Stabroek Block. Maybe it's that's another find out of 80 holes they already dig out there. The cost of that is more than 9 billion American dollars, Guyana. May I ask, when will Guyana see 9 billion American dollars in our pockets or in our treasury? In which year? Ask your government. Ask the opposition and ExxonMobil that question. Expenses and cost of the operation is in the success equation of the oil business, not the revelation of the oil finds. That's not in the success equation, guys. Our leaders need to understand that clearly. Them have this whole oil sector upside down in their minds and in their heads. You have the man boasting about how much wealth we finding in your backyard every month. You ain't know and seeing the bills. You ain't know, you ain't seeing the bills with any of the fines. But you're jumping up like a moron, telling your picnic them, the man find more gold in your backyard. A senior vice president of ExxonMobil named Mike Cousins, maybe someone of we cousins here, says this new discovery today will benefit both we and them. He said that the new oil find will generate value for both Guyana and their shareholders. You know, hear what I said? The man said that today.
Wow.
The 4 headlines that I read to you guys, he said those words in all the newspapers. Will generate value for both Guyana and their shareholders. These guys are very proud to say how their shareholders and Guyana will be happy without showing you any proof of this happiness. Your leaders jumping up for joy like a set of morons, announcing that the school teacher, the headmaster Vikram Bharat, who they put in charge of this massive oil industry, had this to say today. He lauded this new find and expressed confidence that it will aid Guyana and it will transition Guyana to a world-class producer. You hear that? The man said a new oil find will transition Guyana to a world-class oil producer. Guyana, brothers and sisters, when these words coming from these people's mouth, I feel more and more to scream for you people and all Guyana too. This man clearly has no idea what he's speaking about. Not even a moron. A man who never went to school would speak like that. These leaders have to stop selling the white man dream to y'all. They have to stop this. It is time y'all wake up. I am not tired. I am not frustrated. I am just taking a break from you guys. By the time I am back, I'm certain that you people will wake up. Mr. Vikram Bharat telling me these discoveries will aid Guyana, aid Bernard, aid Miss Harris. You know he's correct. He's correct. Is aid this country been living on from the day of independence on to this day. Aid. Stretching we hands and begging for aid all across this world. And in the same breath, you are telling us it will transition Guyana into a world-class oil producer. You hear this thing, man? Are you really understand what's happening in this land, brothers and sisters? Are you people sick, Mr. Vikram? Who wants to hear about transitioning into a world-class oil producer? The entire business world has already said that 1,000,000 times. Why do you people keep repeating the people's line over and over and over again? Just the other day in Texas, where y'all been, the white man said in 4 years' time, Guyana will be the largest oil producing country in the world per capita, meaning per person, guys. Why y'all keep repeating this crap all the time? Every day, all day, year go, year come. Why y'all doing this to the people of this country? The country and its people needs to know, needs to hear, needs to see from you guys what is there for us, for the people of this country, and show us proof.
Definitely.
Don't sell the Guyanese people dream. Stop it. Stop it. Show them poor people how they're going to live a better life. Show the police, the soldiers, the nurses, the public servants, how their salaries will be tripled. Stop selling the Guyanese people the white man dream, you morons. Stop it. I need a break from this country called Guyana. It is getting to my nerves, and I think I need to rest the nerves just for a little while. I am certain that you guys didn't hear many of over 135 programs I already did. So on my little vacation, you'll be able to hear some of them you missed. I have been fighting over 27 years in this newspaper business. And in all that time, I have never been wrong. There are stories that was printed and that I can talk publicly. But then there are many, many stories in my memories that I can only talk in private. You know what I mean, Bernard?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Once you be sued, 29 last.
If I talk publicly,
29 last.
they're going to want to take me to court. But let me say this, Joshua. I know everything what they did and what they're doing. And the things they don't want y'all to know about. I will be back to tell y'all piece by piece of what they're doing. Winston Brassington, the man who heading the $900 million US dollar gas to shore project, that Ponzi scheme on Guyana, just moved to court to wind up the Kaieteur News into receivership, to shut me mouth, to shut me up. Well, all of you gotta come good, brother and sister. This is one fighter, ain't giving up. Even if it costs me my life. The last dollar I have, the last breath I have, I will still be here to fight. I have been through too much, Joshua. Both governments came after me and my family many times using different methods, different tools. All they have. I am still here. And I would still be here. They have come after the Kaieteur News. They have bombed my printery. They threw grenade at me. They put 5 of my pressmen to lay on the ground and shot them dead one by one. They came in this building with guns looking for me. And I am still here, Joshua. I never budge, never run, never hide, and never will. So if y'all think y'all will continue with the heist of Guyana, with this theft of Guyana and its resources, leaving the people of this country to suffer, you got to think not twice, but 1,000,000,000,000 times, because I will not shut up and cannot be shut up. Let me be bold, brothers and sisters. Glenn Lall is saying this. Enjoy this program. I'll be sitting in the studio if you guys want. I'll be sitting right here listening what I have said on a previous program. Joshua?
Yes.
Don't play it yet, man. Hold. I will be grinding, thinking, talking and smiling with myself, just like you guys. We have seen in this country, Josh, many international oil experts has been warning Guyana ever since we discovered oil in 2015 to avoid the resource curse or the Dutch disease. The International Development Bank, the IDB, today says Guyana is heading for the Dutch disease. Yes, the resource curse. What is the Dutch disease? Let me tell you simply, Josh. When the oil money comes, watch out how they're going to spend it and what they're going to spend it on. They will thief out 3/4 for themselves, and the other quarter will be spent to put the country in more debt and in a worse situation than before the oil. That's what it means in a little simple nutshell. It happened all over the world, all over Africa, all over Asia and the Arabian world. The world is growing faster than we can ever imagine, and we must equip ourselves with our own realities and dig into solutions in order to realize our goal and what we want. Youths have to be in the front line. We must equip with quality education, be well informed of the African reality in order to realize our goals, our agendas, for us to be able to face all challenges and navigate a way out for a better life, a better future. The young man says, to do this, Africans, meaning Guyanese, must be equipped with readiness and quality of knowledge to take up responsibility and withstand those political powers to change, because change is inevitable. Change has to come. Change must come. You hear what the man said, man? Equip the people with readiness and the quality of knowledge. You don't put a headmaster what teach in classes all his life for run something of this nature.
He never has known nothing about it. It's madness.
Huh? Man, something is wrong in this land. It's like you're putting a tailor to run a ministry. The little guy says, we Africans have been relying on Western models to perceive how to set our goals, our agendas, our projects, our development models. But the kid says, This system has not been working for us. And all African countries need to start looking inwards. The little boy says, if you have been looking up all the time and not finding the solutions, it is time to look down. Yes, look at yourself and start to bring about the change you want for yourself. The leaders hasn't done it and can't do it for us. Guyanese, our leaders can't do it. They are incompetent and corrupt. The guy talked about Rwanda as a model. It is a model for the continent. It was a country down to zero, nothing, back in 1994. It was at its roots, the young man said. Guyana was there too in 1994. And Guyana is still zero on to this day as at its root. The young man said they were able to save their society with working as a community, building unity, transitional justice system, and today it is one of the fastest growing economy in the world. Today.
You should see it. You should see the city.
I know of it. I know what Rwanda went through with the genocide, with the Hutus and the Tutsis. I follow all those things.
900,000 people there.
Yes, I know. True. Yes, an editor of a newspaper, of a radio station. I remember. You hear that? You hear what the young man said?
Unity.
They were able to save their society with working as a community, building unity, transitional justice system, and today it is one of the fastest growing economy. Guyana is set to becoming the largest oil producing nation on earth per capita. What is there for us? Is there any unity? Let me ask you, is there any unity? Yes. The opposition and the government is cussing and fighting, dividing race after race. That's what we're fighting. You know what is there for you, Guyana? Only bills. Bills in the billions. The young man said, it is about relying on yourself, believing in yourself, having a vision, good leadership that informs every individual to take up responsibility. You hear that?
Vision and responsibility.
Take up responsibility. Here in Guyana, they want to shut the Kaieteur news down for showing them what is the right thing to do, so the people of this country can benefit from their wealth. That's what I want to do to Kaieteur News, and shut me mouth up. The kid said, ladies and gentlemen of this country, the leadership of Rwanda stood tall because it made its citizens very important, very proud of themselves as a country and a people. And that is how you charge individuals to take responsibility. Show them that development lies in their hands, that it can only be realized with unified forces. And that is exactly the resource we are seeing today. You hear me, man? You hear that, young man? The kids said, development, success lies in the people's hand. Here in Guyana, you're not hearing what to do, where to turn, where to look, how you can play a role in this development. Absolutely nothing you're hearing from these leaders. None of them. They behave as if me and you don't exist. We are not Guyanese. Everything they do is in secret and in silence in this country. Yes. So we need to go back. The young man said, we need to go back to the Pan-African spirit. What was Marcus Garvey and all our other great leaders, and he called a few names, who sacrificed, the sacrifices they made for the continent. He named Nelson Mandela and so on, and some other previous African leaders who stood up to fight against dominance, control with their belief, their vision, human rights, rights of women, right to employment, right to fair share of their wealth. Those leaders stood up. We had some of them here too. Burnham stood up. Cherry Jagan stood up. They would have chased all these foreigners out this land already if they were alive.
Definitely.
So true.
It is high time. It is high time we rely on our realities, on issues that are in line with African agendas, the young man said. What are we doing in this country? What are we relying on? We are relying on everything ExxonMobil and these foreigners tell us in this country. The guy said no country can develop using foreign education, using foreign aid, foreign culture. We need to realize this, otherwise we're not going anywhere. That's what the young man said. Man, I love that child. I love that kid. I love him. Can I leave now for my airport, or should I continue? Yeah?
A little more time.
You got a little more time?
Yeah.
Well, let me go to Suriname. Satsoli, the National Oil Company of Suriname, just announced that all the food and beverages needed by the offshore drilling rigs in their oil block will be supplied entirely by Suriname. You hear that, Joshua? Every full piece of food, beverages, will be supplied entirely by Surinamese. And Surinamese own companies with effect from this month. Have you heard anything from our vice president who's heading this oil sector? If any one of our beverage companies supplying the rigs out there, or everything is being imported for them by themselves. Yes, they're importing everything. Yes, Exxon is importing everything for themselves. I remember down to the water, bottled water, ExxonMobil is importing from overseas, fattening their countries and their people. And we have people like Banks, DIH and DDL and the water companies here.
From a land of many waters.
Yes, and from the land of many waters.
Importing water.
When we carried that story in the Kaieteur News a few years back, Vice President Jagdeo, he told us that he will be looking into it. To date, we haven't heard a word on it. Suriname said they will be working closely with the companies that are operating offshore and are committed to developing the local content in the country to allow their citizens to benefit as much as possible from them oil and gas industry. 3 years now, brothers and sisters. 3 years now, Guyana pumping oil. And they're pumping other things too. Have you ever heard? Have you ever heard words from our leaders like that? From those Surinamese people? The deliveries, the Suriname people say, will be done by special supply vessels, 3 of which are committed to Suriname. You didn't hear what I said there, man. Yeah. The people said 3 of which belongs to Suriname. It will be Suriname operations. The supply vessels will be bringing in, the man said, drilling waste from the rigs offshore for treatment, and will carry food and beverage supplies to the drilling rigs. Hear what the guy said? Them say diesel, that the rigs, they will be supplying the rigs with diesel. The supply ships, and the supply ships will be using their diesel, which will be purchased in Suriname. You hear me? The income from the diesel, the people say, per year is $30 million US. You didn't hear me, man.
One thing alone.
Yes, from 130 million US. Suriname have their own supply vessels. Is what Guyana got? Eh?
You got the
Guyana has ExxonMobil supply boats that is charging us 55,000 American dollars per day.
Sorry, I'm paying how much?
Work or no work. Suriname got 1 rig out there, and them take over all the supply boats. Them now got 3 supplying everything, down to the diesel. And we got ExxonMobil supplying them own self at 55,000, $11 million a day, work or no work. Wow. You hear what the people said, man? Them using diesel from Suriname itself, because they will be using 30 million US a year. All that money, brothers and sisters, has to be paid from the oil companies to Suriname and its people. Instead, all that money for Guyana is being paid to ExxonMobil, fattening them more. You see how to run business, guys? Huh? You see how to run business?
Yeah.
These are business people we have here, man. You take a headmaster who never run a cake shop. Jagdi who never run a cake shop. Brasington never run a cake shop. Or Ashley Singh. I'm on already one of them. Them a run business. See them? You must be the supplier, guys, so your people can make money.
From their own oil.
We should be the suppliers, so we can make extra money from our own oil. Instead, we take we little 2% money, what we getting, for pay them back, for their services. And when Kaieteur News report on these things, they want to shut you down. I love you guys. Suriname has approximately 350 people employed on the drilling platform. You hear that? Not me saying this, This is a statement came out of the Suriname government just yesterday. Around 50, the people said I got around 50 of them. Out of that 350, 50 of them is Surinamese. How much Guyana got there? 3 or 4 of them are sweeping the ship floor and paying them less than what the cleaners are collecting from we schools. That's what we get in. Suriname said that they are putting every effort into having the storage area for the pipes and drilling materials for their country. Bernard, you hear that? Them said them putting every effort into having the storage area for pipes and drilling materials for Suriname. We carried the story 2 days ago in which ExxonMobil said them looking for 5-acre land on the west coast to store their pipes and drilling materials. Are you really understand what's going on here, man?
We more than understand.
Suriname a set up stage for store the pipes to which they can be paid a rent.
Yeah, correct is right.
ExxonMobil will, oh gosh, Guyana give away the land. ExxonMobil said the thing. So ExxonMobil going to charge a rent.
Storage.
They will be collect.
Of course.
There's a guy in.
That's the whole
Man,
There's a guy in.
Man.
The story.
man, I need help in this land.
But like I tell you, sir, I'm going to show them up. So
Bernard,
I keep telling you, man.
Bernard, you see the difference with leadership?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes,
Suriname say every piece of land and storage must belong to Suriname.
Correct.
We leaders say, give them the land, give them cheap, man, let them store it and let them pay themselves for store it.
Yep.
Then hand Guyana the bill to pay it. You and me, you can pay it from that 2% why you getting. When I'm done with you, like I said many times before, each one of you will hold your head and bawl. That's what these leaders, all of them doing to we in this country. In the Suriname contract, the oil companies are required to provide a report indicating that the development of its local content involvement in the oil and gas operations and to state their plans of actions to increase their levels of local content. They also have to submit a list of local content purchases on a quarterly basis. In Guyana, our contract is almost similar, but the requirement is not met by what the contract says. They are handing you hundreds upon hundreds of millions in bills as local purchases with no explanations or details whatsoever. As for the local content operations, the involvement in Guyana, oh gosh, we don't know who they're hiring, how much they're hiring, what position they hold. Basically, we know nothing. Apart from that, brothers and sisters, Suriname said the oil people have to submit on a quarterly basis a list of the numbers of contractors, subcontractors, local hires, and their associated titles. You hear me? You have to submit to Suriname all the contractors and the people who they hire.
Yep.
Companies are also required to use their best efforts to train locals with respect to their technical, administrative, executive management, and so on within the operations. Guyana doesn't know who are the contractors, the subcontractors, the locals, the associates who working for the oil company. Guyana doesn't know nothing. As for the training aspect, maybe those contractors training them to stand guard and to clean the trucks and the boats and stuff like that. That's the training Guyanese are getting. You hear me? Because I've never heard any Guyanese there in any position. Guyana, when I compare those inflexible rules with our PSA, our contract with ExxonMobil, and our draft local content policy. I cannot find any of those rules in our documents. Nothing has been accomplished from the coalition to this current administration. We are still in the dark about the policy and all that goes on with it. Suriname say, them dredging the river. Hear this piece, man, James. Suriname said them dredging them river, clearing the way. And once that is done, it will offer more opportunities for local producers and suppliers of goods. Guyana clearing the way with them old iron at the mouth of the Demerara River for Exxon supply boats. Not for ours. Not for we to supply anything. For Exxon supply boats. And they still have 130 more to remove from outside there for ExxonMobil and the oil companies. This is good going, eh?
Wonderful.
This is beautiful going, man. I love you, Guyana. The former APNU AFC administration had promised the nation that this local content policy would be in place for forced oil, which officially started on December 2019. Them come out of office. We there in 2021 and still waiting for see the document. Do you think that one want to see?
No.
They want to see Kaieteur news mouth shut.
Sure.
Or they want to see Kaieteur news fall off the map.
Telling the truth.
Them not concerned or responsible to see the local content document properly done. Vikram, Bharat, the headmaster running the sector, here had stated that these would be presented in Parliament before year end. Until then, there is no law in place to compel the oil and gas companies here to observe the procedures put in place for them to offer Guyanese employment and to support local services. No, nothing in place for that. Guys, I worked every single day of my life putting out a newspaper. I work from Sunday to Sunday. Holidays or no holidays. And that has been my life for over 20-something years. 2 days we don't print newspapers. I'm just telling you, Winston Brassington. Good Friday and Christmas. And even those 2 days, I got to work. Because Adam used to come to my house and a few friends and give me work. But we work outside the house. Christmas Day and Good Friday. So just informing Brassington when you get the newspaper in your hand. Right? Joshua, is the time that I take a break, man?
Well, long time. You need a vacation.
Or you think I should wait till he take over the newspaper? Huh? Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm going to take a vacation. And if they don't take it over by then, I will turn out back. And I'll be on the radio. I'll give them the newspaper one. And I'll be on the radio. So good night to all of you. God bless. I'll see you back very soon. Hope you guys enjoy the programs that will come to you every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You have missed out on many. And please, every Tuesdays and Thursdays, same time, you guys need to listen to Kiana Wilbur program.